What's going on, bros? Today we're going to be making a spatula, because why the f not? Hi. Alright, bros, someone special to me is asking for a spatula, and I'm going to carve it out of wood. It's going to be my first wood carving video. Not really my first wood carving video, but my first only carving. No, I made a boast that carving, but it's going to be mostly chisel work and a lot of hand saw work too, probably. We'll see. I know I'm wearing a Captain America sweatshirt. I'm not paid by Captain America. If Captain America wants to pay me, he has to call me for sponsorship. But I'm just wearing the Captain America sweatshirt, that's all. So anyway, let's get into it. Alright guys, so on this table you got pretty much everything you'll need. If you have more than one chisel, like a smaller chisel, that would be good. And use the saw maybe. A hand saw. Palm sander. And I got my clamps. You can see I brought my Dremel out, but I didn't use it. It's a good tool though if you want to do small work. Start off by picking your nicest looking 2x4. This is the best 2x4 I could find. I'll take away the knots and just use this part right here. I'm going to drill a hole where there's a curve right here when it goes into the handle with a paddle bit. You'll see. I use a saw and maybe my drills as well. I'm going to use a 15/16 bit. Basically draw a picture of the spatula on the wood, but before you do that, draw a center line going all the way down the length of the spatula, 1 3/4 inches from the edge. Put a little point or a plus sign. Make the drill holes for the curve 3/4 from the edge. I'm marking out the center of the drill hole. I went 3/4 in from both sides. These first 2 holes is just a pivot point for my cuts because I don't have a jigsaw. But the next 4 holes are going to be 1 3/16 inches from the edge. I just have to space the holes perfectly from center lines taken from the end of the spatula and the side. The center line helps with all these measurements. Also take measurements from the edge of 2x. But the edges of the 2x4 are going to go away later when I make these cuts, but the center line is going to stay for a long time. One thing I could do to stay accurate, put little dimples in there. Grab a screw or a nail, little dimples right on your point. Always place a scrap piece of wood behind the 2x4 so that you don't blow out the other side. I don't know what I was thinking, drilling that hole in the middle. I do that. And so I had to redo the whole thing off camera. So here's what I got. I basically drew the spatula here, and here's the holes inside the spatula. I'm gonna cut all this out, but I want to draw the angle on this edge too. Center line. Center lines are important. I want it to go a little bit wider at the end. I'm going to taper out. Here I slowly lower the blade of the circular saw down just enough to cut all the way through and establish that first cut so I could get my hand saw. As soon as I could get my hand saw in there, I'm gonna do it. Make sure your depth is not too deep. Better to finish it off with the hand saw. where your blade touches, right where you want it to touch. Then grab the speed square. That'll line your table up nice. Most importantly, stop your cuts early. You could always finish it with the handsaw. If you cut too deep, the blade, the cuts will be there forever, and you'll never get it back. Keeping this so we can clamp it to the table. I'm going to draw my other dimension right here. Before you get too crazy, draw the spatula on the side of the 2x4, but the side view of the spatula, all the curves. Alright, set the depth all the way deep. Cutting the 2x4 on the side like this with the blade so deep is a little bit sketchy, you know, be careful. More blade, more danger. I'm standing right at the edge of danger. And caution is my middle name. Bussin'. Gotcha. No, my middle name's Danger, of course. Fooled you. Psych. Have you ever had a spatula that was super flat? You know, it didn't have any curves in it, and you went to flip a burger and you're like, how the f am I supposed to flip a burger with this? Yeah, this spatula is not going to have that problem. Baby step. Because this spatula is going to be the greatest. Hope I didn't go too deep. Piece didn't fall off, so maybe I didn't. The old eyeball. Eye of the tiger. Okay guys, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm using a circular saw to make a spatula. Yeah, the wrong tool for the job, it's true, but I'm just showing you how I use the wrong tool for the job and how I get it done. But maybe it's not the wrong tool. Maybe it's the right tool. Can't make those angle cuts with a jigsaw. But rather than using the handsaw the whole time, why not make a shortcut? That's a pun. I love puns. You know, I felt like I had to say something about that. That's all. In my defense, I'm finishing all the cuts with a handsaw and chisels, and that's respectable. That's respectable. That's respectable. I forget what we were talking about. I'll tone down the ranting a little bit. Please don't unsubscribe and hit subscribe, please. Wow, look at that. There's a spatula in there. We released it. You could put your circular saw away, and now you're just going to use your chisel, maybe some handsaw. Slice away at the corners. Learning how to chisel when you're going against the grain or with the grain, it just all takes practice. Just pretend it's an onion, like a paleontologist digging up a dinosaur. We are digging up a spatula. Being very careful not to harm our dinosaur. I mean, spatula. You know, checking out my niche and seeing the other woodworking channels and seeing what I'm up against. We got some head honchos out there, some really professional guys, and it intimidates me a little bit, but it doesn't actually, because I want to show you guys how I can make things with simple tools. What about the average Joe? What about him, huh? What about him? I just think there's got to be a how-to video out there where the guy never brings out any fancy saw or tool. Alright, first step, take out your T1000 turbo saw. But I'm just jealous. Once you think you're done or close to it, you can use your saw, hand saw, and cut off the end. I made mine 13 inches for my kid. She's a youngin'. I'm going to do some palm sanding on the end here, and I'm not going to use my clamp. This might be frowned upon at carpenter school, but just be careful with your hands. Don't try this at home, bros. Oh, I also forgot to mention that you can use a file. I have a file with a round side and I use it here. And a rolled up piece of sandpaper for inside the hole. Keep changing your angle. Alright, so that's a cool little toy spatula basically. You could use it for flipping burgers, but I would put some kind of like beeswax or some kind of coating on it. Alright, so there's your spatula. Very lightweight, made out of a 2x4. Not too shabby, you know. That's how you make a spatula. So basically that's it. When you're all done, use a little piece of sandpaper and do it by hand. You can roll it up like this and just get the curves, the inside corner. That way you can get it nice and smooth in all the crevices. If you hand make someone a gift, it's like 10 times better. They might not like it that much, but they'll like it a lot 10 years from now. 10 years from now, they won't like the race car set that you bought, but they will like this thing. I'm talking about children, but really I'm talking about anybody. When you make something with your hands, you're leaving your mark on the planet so that when you die, there will be a piece of you left behind. What if archaeologists dig up your spatula thousands of years from now? Wouldn't that be cool? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out more of my videos, bros. Hey, check it out. I got some videos right here on the screen. Just click on them.